I'm Andrew, and the story I'm about to tell is a heartbreaking tale of a friend lost in the mountains while chasing an adrenaline rush and recording it for TikTok. It's a story that serves as a painful reminder of the dangers that come with seeking thrill and adventure in the great outdoors. It all started with a road trip. My friends and I decided to explore the majestic mountains of the United States. Among us was my closest friend, James, an adventurous spirit who was always up for a challenge. He had a passion for documenting his outdoor escapades on TikTok, and it was something we had all grown accustomed to. As we ventured deeper into the mountains, our excitement knew no bounds. The breathtaking vistas, the crisp mountain air, and the sense of freedom were invigorating. James, in particular, was in his element, eagerly planning shots and video ideas to share with his followers. One sunny morning, we embarked on a hike that promised unparalleled views. James was in high spirits, and he couldn't wait to capture the beauty of the mountain landscape. Armed with his smartphone, he began recording, narrating his journey, and sharing his exhilaration with his TikTok followers. We climbed higher and higher, taking in the grandeur of the mountains. The trail, while challenging, was well-trodden, and we felt confident in our ability to conquer it. But as we ventured further, the terrain grew steeper and more treacherous. James, determined to capture the ultimate shot, pressed on. As we reached a particularly precarious section of the trail, my heart began to race. The path narrowed, and the drop on either side was sheer and dizzyingly high. James, however, was undeterred. He inched closer to the edge, his eyes fixed on his phone screen, unaware of the looming danger, and then, it happened. A loose rock gave way beneath James' foot, and he lost his balance. I watched in horror as he tumbled over the edge, his scream echoing in the mountain silence. Time seemed to slow as I rushed to the edge, but it was too late. James had disappeared from view. The following moments were a blur of frantic calls to 911, and search and rescue teams were dispatched to the area. I was filled with a crushing sense of guilt and helplessness. It was my idea to embark on this adventure, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I should have been more cautious. Hours turned into days as search and rescue teams scoured the mountainside for any sign of James. Friends and family joined in the search, their faces etched with worry and sorrow. The mountains, while stunning, had become a haunting backdrop to our collective grief. As days turned into weeks, hope began to wane. The harsh reality of our situation settled in, and we had to accept that we might never find James. It was a devastating blow to all of us, a reminder that the mountains, while captivating, could also be unforgiving. We held a memorial for James, a somber gathering of friends and family who shared stories of his adventurous spirit, his infectious laughter, and his unwavering friendship. The void he left in our lives was immeasurable, and the guilt I felt for not preventing his fall weighed heavily on my heart. The video that James had been recording that fateful day remained on his TikTok account, a chilling reminder of the tragic accident. We couldn't bear to watch it, and we chose to leave it untouched, a testament to the price one can pay for the pursuit of online fame. In the years that followed, our group of friends grew closer, bound together by the memories we shared with James and the lessons we had learned from his tragic accident. We vowed never to underestimate the power of nature, and to prioritize safety above all else during our adventures. James' passing left an indelible mark on our lives, a stark reminder of the fragile nature of existence and the consequences of recklessness. The mountains, which had once symbolized freedom and exhilaration, now carried the weight of our loss, a solemn reminder of the friend we had lost while chasing a fleeting moment of excitement on TikTok. I'm Alex, and what I'm about to share is a chilling story that still haunts my nightmares. It all began with an ill-fated video shoot, an accident that spiraled into a tragedy I could never have imagined. My friends and I were passionate about making short films, and we had decided to create a suspenseful thriller. The story revolved around a heist gone wrong, with each of us taking on different roles as characters in the criminal underworld. The climax of the video required a dramatic standoff, and that's where everything went horribly wrong. We had meticulously planned the scene. I was the actor playing the role of the ruthless mastermind, and my friend Jake was to portray the detective closing in on my character. The tension in the scene would be palpable, and we aimed to create an unforgettable moment for our viewers. On the day of the shoot, our adrenaline was running high. We had a realistic-looking prop gun that we had used in previous projects, and it had never caused any issues. But this time, a fatal mistake was waiting to happen. As we began filming the climactic scene, the tension in the room was palpable. Jake, playing the detective, had his real service weapon holstered on his hip. In the heat of the moment, as we acted out our roles with intensity, I reached for the prop gun to make a threatening gesture. I had used this prop countless times before, and I never suspected it would betray me. In a horrifying twist of fate, I discovered that someone had switched the prop gun with a real one. My heart sank as I realized what I had just done. The deafening gunshot echoed through the room, and time seemed to stand still. Jake, my dear friend and fellow actor, fell to the ground, a look of disbelief in his eyes. Blood pooled around him, staining the floor crimson. I dropped the gun, my hands trembling, and rushed to his side, my mind a whirlwind of panic and guilt. We called 911, but it was too late. Jake was gone, his life cut short in an instant by a tragic accident. The police arrived, and it didn't take long for them to piece together what had happened. I was arrested, my friends and I were questioned extensively, and the video footage became evidence in a criminal investigation. The weight of what I had done hung heavy on my shoulders. I had taken the life of my friend, a life filled with potential and dreams, all because of a horrifying mistake. I couldn't believe the irony of the situation. A prop gun meant for make-believe had caused a real tragedy. The legal process was agonizingly slow, and I faced the possibility of imprisonment for my negligence. My friends, who had witnessed the accident, were also traumatized. We were all haunted by the fact that our passion for filmmaking had led to such a devastating outcome. The trial was a grueling experience. I pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter, accepting responsibility for my actions. The court recognized that it had been a tragic accident, but it didn't bring Jake back. His family mourned the loss of their son, their brother, and their friend. The judge sentenced me to probation, community service, and mandatory therapy. It was a lenient punishment compared to what I deserved, but it served as a constant reminder of the devastating consequences of my mistake. The video footage, which had been intended as a thrilling climax to our film, became a haunting memento of that fateful day. It was never released, and we couldn't bear to watch it. It served as a painful reminder of the accident that had cost a young man his life. Years have passed since that tragic day, but the guilt and sorrow still linger. I can never undo what happened, but I hope that by sharing this story, others will recognize the dangers of taking shortcuts and not double-checking props on a film set. What was meant to be a thrilling shoot became a horrifying nightmare, a reminder that life is fragile, and the consequences of our actions can be devastating. I'm Mark, and the events I'm about to recount still send shivers down my spine. It all began when my younger brother, Jake, decided to embark on a seemingly harmless adventure, one that would turn our lives into a living nightmare. Jake was always the adventurous one in the family. He loved exploring abandoned places, chasing thrills, and sharing his experiences on TikTok, where he had amassed a sizable following. His videos ranged from urban exploration to daredevil stunts, and people loved the adrenaline rush they got from watching his escapades. One evening, Jake announced that he had discovered an abandoned mansion deep in the woods, a place rumored to be haunted. He planned to explore it and capture every spine-tingling moment on camera. It was his most audacious endeavor yet, and I begged him not to go. But Jake was fearless and determined to make the most thrilling TikTok video of his life. He packed his camera equipment and set off into the woods, the fading sunlight casting long shadows through the dense trees. I couldn't shake the feeling of unease as I watched him disappear into the darkness. Little did I know that this would be the last time I saw my brother alive. Hours passed, and Jake hadn't returned. I tried calling him, but his phone went straight to voicemail. Panic set in as I realized that something was terribly wrong. I grabbed a flashlight and headed into the woods, retracing his path. I found the mansion, an imposing and decrepit structure that loomed like a shadow against the night sky. The front door stood ajar, creaking ominously in the wind. I stepped inside, calling out for Jake, but there was no answer, only an eerie silence that sent shivers down my spine. I ventured deeper into the mansion, my flashlight illuminating decaying wallpaper and rotting furniture. The air was thick with an unsettling stillness. And then, as I reached the grand staircase, I heard it, a faint, haunting whisper that seemed to come from the very walls themselves. "Leave," it whispered, a ghostly echo that sent a chill down my spine, but I couldn't leave without Jake. I pressed on, my heart pounding in my chest. I climbed the stairs, my footsteps echoing in the empty corridors. And then, I found it, a trail of blood leading to an open door. I entered the room and froze in horror. Jake's camera was lying on the floor, its lens shattered, the screen cracked. The room was bathed in an eerie red light, casting long, grotesque shadows. And there, in the center of the room, was my brother, suspended in midair, his lifeless eyes staring into nothingness. I screamed, my voice echoing through the mansion. But there was no one there to hear me, no one to help me. I knew I had to get out of that place, to escape the horrors that lurked within its walls. I ran from the mansion, my mind a whirlwind of fear and confusion. I called the police, and they arrived at the scene, conducting a thorough investigation. They couldn't explain how Jake had died, only that it appeared to be an accident. The blood trail, they said, had likely been from a cut he sustained while exploring. I couldn't accept their explanation. I knew there was something more, something malevolent that had taken my brother from me. His TikTok followers mourned his death, leaving heartfelt messages and condolences on his videos. They watched his final video, the one he had been recording when he died. The video was chilling. It showed Jake exploring the mansion, his voice trembling as he described the eerie atmosphere. He had reached the room where I found him, and as he panned the camera, the red light flickered, and the whispering began. The camera fell, capturing only darkness and the sound of his own terrified screams, but what haunted me the most were the comments. Some claimed to have seen something in the video, a shadowy figure lurking in the background. Others swore they heard the whispering too, voices urging Jake to leave, to escape while he still could. I couldn't bring myself to watch the video, but I couldn't escape the feeling that it held the key to what had happened to my brother. I became obsessed with uncovering the truth, scouring Jake's videos, searching for clues, and reaching out to his followers. Then, one night, as I replayed the video for the 100th time, I saw it, a fleeting shadow in the background, a figure that seemed to materialize from the darkness. It was only there for a moment, but it was unmistakable, a sinister presence that had been with Jake in his final moments. I knew I had to return to the mansion, to confront whatever malevolent force had taken my brother from me. Armed with a camera and determination, I ventured back into the woods, back to the place where it had all begun. As I entered the mansion once more, I felt a cold, oppressive presence all around me. The whispering began, a chorus of voices urging me to leave. But I pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. I reached the room where Jake had died and started recording. And then, as I panned the camera, I saw it, the shadowy figure, lurking in the background, its eyes burning with malevolence. I felt a searing pain in my chest, and the camera fell from my hands, capturing only darkness. The last thing I heard was the sinister whispering, voices that seemed to come from every direction, surrounding me, engulfing me. And then, there was nothing but darkness. I don't know if anyone will ever find this recording, but I hope that it serves as a warning. There are forces in this world that we cannot comprehend, malevolent entities that lurk in the shadows, waiting to claim those who dare to venture too close. My only regret is that I couldn't save my brother from their grasp, and now, it seems, I too have become a part of their dark and haunting legacy.